The brand new Apple Watch is here, and our impulse, as always, is to ask how different is it from last year? But that assumes that the best possible device would be a lot different, and that's just not the case for such an already successful smartwatch. So who should buy this watch then? Let's talk about it. I'm Chris DeGraw with Digital Trends, and this is the Apple Watch Series 7. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not the most active, high-energy fitness nut out there by any stretch, and there's a lot of health features in the new watchOS 8 that I have yet to regularly use, even on my own Apple Watch Series 5. Among other things, Apple has added Tai Chi and Pilates workouts. Additional auditory feedback regarding workout milestones have been added to help you keep track of where you're at without having to pull out your phone or even glance at your wrist. Cycling has been improved to better track when you're moving versus when you're stationary. And though there's no indication to the user, Apple says e-bikes will now track uniquely compared to standard bikes. Apologies to my fellow e-cyclists for the new challenge, but we all knew we were cheating anyway. The Breathe app now offers guided meditation for Fitness Plus members, and sleep tracking will now offer overnight respiratory insight. In case you're wondering, yes, all of this did induce enough guilt for me to accept the 3-month trial of Apple Fitness Plus, so maybe check with me in January to admire my newfound gains. But don't hold your breath. This is, however, a watch review, not a watchOS review. So here we are, to the last order of business, wherein I kindly request that you like this video. Subscribe to the channel too, especially if this isn't your first time here, and I know it isn't. All of those in an effort to keep me just mentally stable enough to maintain the physical demands of a Fitness Plus subscription. Let's dig into the dang watch, shall we? Series 7 comes in 5 brand new colors this year. Ours is Midnight, and it's sold alongside Starlight, Green, Blue, and Product Red. There is no Space Gray, and you might think, well, Midnight is black, so what's the difference? Well, a tiny drop of dark blue is the answer, but not enough that it'll be a challenge to match your outfit of the day, and unless you're in particular lighting, you may never even notice it's there. The watch is now IP6X certified, which is really great news. That means it's now able to resist dust better than ever before, and it supposedly has a stronger, more durable screen due to an increased thickness of the glass and some refined geometry. Now, every year, Apple says every one of its screens is more durable than its predecessor, and while I doubt they're lying about any of that, as someone who doesn't use screen protectors on any of my devices, certainly not on my watch, they all still scratch. I haven't had this one long enough to damage it, so I can't say one way or the other with certainty, but just expect to see your watch reflect your lifestyle, and you'll never be dissatisfied. Easily the most distinguishable aspect of the Apple Watch Series 7 is that it's larger. 45 and 41 millimeter models replace the Series 6's 44 and 40, respectively. The screen itself is larger as well, of course, and the glass now wraps further around the case, giving it softer corners. It's not something I could even tell when comparing closely even to my Series 5, but there you have it. I'm nonetheless pleased with that new screen real estate, which is taken advantage of in a few different ways. For one, most UI elements like passcode, apps, notification, input prompts, like basically all of the on-screen buttons, pretty much, are now a little bit larger, up to 20% in many cases, and the result is an interface that is a great deal easier and more enjoyable during everyday use. You'll also gain access to 2 new watch faces. The first, called Contour, is very sleek, trendy, a little hard to read, all around impractical, and exists only to look cool. Screams me, if I'm being honest. I hope you know how to read an analog clock reasonably quickly without numbers, because if you want to rock this face, you're either going to learn or you're going to sit there twirling the crown for 10 seconds whenever you need to know the time. Honestly, you might be doing that anyway. It's pretty fun. It's quite customizable though, which I appreciate, and so matching it with a watch band and or a fit will pose no problem. The other new watch face, called Modular Duo, aims to be the more pragmatic of the two, absolutely cramming information from complications in every corner, up to 3 to be specific, 2 large rectangular complications and 1 smaller one in the remaining top left corner. It still maintains an easily readable digital clock and overall elegant look though, one that doesn't depart wildly from other modular watch faces you may be accustomed to using currently. That said, in my opinion, Apple still leaves plenty to be desired in the world of faces. It's still lacking compared to when I first donned the Moto 360 on my wrist, all the way back in 2014. I doubt we'll ever be trusted to create our own looks from scratch, nor given more deeply customizable Apple-approved third-party options. What I will say, though, is by now at least, they've arrived at a reasonable selection straight out of the box, all very elegant and intentional, and certainly more personalized when compared to default offerings from just a few short years ago. Here's a big one. You can text now on that bigger screen using a full QWERTY keyboard. making the typing experience a little more pleasant. Is it a huge step up from doodling every individual letter sometimes 2 or 3 times? Kinda. Realistically, even with swipe or quick path, as Apple calls it, you're probably only going to be using something like this in a pinch. For what it's worth, it's a welcome quality of life enhancement and little more. I found myself using it for the purposes of testing and then honestly never wanting to touch it again. Given how much it relies on predictive typing to its merit, I wonder if this would have worked just as well on as far back as like the Series 4, for example. To me, its exclusivity reads more as, well, if you want it, you're gonna have to buy this, and less of something that wasn't possible until now. Needless to say, I wouldn't consider it a huge selling point. As I mentioned, I own a Series 5, and typically I don't sleep with it. This is particularly because it's a little uncomfy, which of course is something I could get used to, but even more so it's because it complicates the charging cycle I have alongside my phone. If I charge them both at night, they'll be good, pretty much guaranteed, through the next day. But this has not been true if you sleep with the watch, especially if you have an LTE model that's a couple of years old. It might or it might not. So when am I supposed to charge? Worse, it's not like it charges quickly. It can take an hour or more depending on how much battery is left. That's where the Series 7 makes its other big improvement. Not, some would argue unfortunately, to the size of the battery, but rather to the rate at which it charges with this new charger. The new charger, whose cable comes with the watch, will charge 33% faster, or from 0 to 80 in about 45 minutes. Or, as they put it another way, 8 hours of sleep tracking can be gained from just 8 minutes of charging before you go to bed. With this faster charging, I've been able to create a new charging cycle that makes sense and easily fits into my life. I top it off as I get ready for bed and fill it up as I break in the new day. I've finally been able to take full advantage of the sleep tracking that I've heretofore been too inconvenienced to bother with. To reiterate, the overall battery life remains the same. And granted, this is a brand new device with a very healthy battery, but from my testing, that marginally faster charging speed makes owning the newest Apple Watch, for me, just a little sweeter. Does that mean you should upgrade from your Series 5 or Series 6? Honestly, probably not, unless you just want to. But for those who are as close to as objectively ready for a new watch as one can be, it will be one more thing to add to a growing list of features that they're still living without. So what isn't new in the Apple Watch Series 7? Well, we already went over its shape, and as you can see, there are no flat sides to be found. Who knows if that's coming next year or ever. The processor carries over from last year as well, new only in name, S7 for the curious. And then what about health sensors? Well, there's no new tech in that respect either. Some rumors did suggest a body temperature sensor, more hopeful yet a blood sugar monitor. Both are likely still in the works, but they're not here now. A non-invasive way to test for blood sugar still seems like magic, yet every year it feels like this might be the year we finally actually get it. As someone with a few friends who could really use it, more than anything, I hope that those rumors come to fruition, like yesterday. But I digress. I think the thing to take away is that the Apple Watch, like many of Apple's device verticals, if that makes sense, is maturing. And with that maturity comes what some might perceive as stagnation. Still, there's plenty to love about the Apple Watch Series 7, particularly if you're already in the market for a new smartwatch for your iPhone. This, the best available Apple Watch right now, will give you many years of service before needing to be replaced, and I don't think we should deride it for that. Let me know in the comments if you have an Apple Watch, which one you have, and if this bigger screen is tempting you at all. Or maybe you were really disappointed in the minor redesign and were hoping for something more substantial. Either way, that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like and sub to Digital Trends if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you wanna know when new content drops, because new content will drop, and I hope to see you soon.